In this video, we're going to show you how to install the AC bypass pulley on your Ford Mustang, located on the front side of your engine. On the left side of the engine, underneath our AC compressor, we're going to find a belt tensioner right here. We're going to use our 15mm socket on our ratchet, and we're going to lift up, take tension off that belt, remove that. I'm going to go ahead and release our ratchet here. Remove that and drop the belt aside. Now, before we tackle removing our AC compressor, you want to have this AC system professionally evacuated from a repair shop. You want to have the system drained out. We don't want to open up the AC line and let that freon into the air. That would be a bad thing. Using a flathead screwdriver, we're going to loosen the hose clamps on our air intake tube. Once we have those loose, we're going to come up to the back here, and there is a vacuum tube going in. We're going to grab that and pull that out. Now we can remove the air intake tube. I'm going to open up the air box here, spring clip, lift up, and do that on the bottom as well. Go ahead and remove this here. You're going to tuck that off to the side. Right behind the AC compressor pulley, there's going to be an electrical connector. I'm going to use a small pick and get underneath the edge of this little locking tab here. Just gently lift up on that and pull that connector off, like so. Now, if you go around to the back side of the AC compressor, there's a 10mm bolt on the back holding this line here, or this block to the back. We're going to use our 10mm gear wrench. I'm going to loosen and remove that bolt. Okay, remove that bolt. Using a 13mm, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove these 4 bolts. I'm going to go ahead and tap the AC compressor. Doesn't want to come free, so we're going to use our pry bar. Here we go. Just going to separate that from the bracket underneath. Grab this here, pull it up, and remove it. Now on the bracket here, we want to go ahead and clean these 3 mounting holes. I'm going to use some spray solvent and kind of clean these out. I'm going to clean up any debris that's inside, any corrosion or anything like that. I'm just using a small pick to go around the inside edge here. Now I'm not going down into the threads, but there is a little bit of a pocket here where we're going to insert some sleeves. You see some of that debris coming out. Next thing we want to do is install our sleeves. And what's going to happen is these sleeves go into this pocket that we just cleaned. We're going to tap them in, and then they come up through the port here. And what this does is it takes up any of the slack that the bolt might have in there. I'll go ahead and line that up. I'm going to tap that in. And do the same for the one down below. Install the bracket, install a bolt with a washer, drop that down into place and get that started. Do the same on the bottom one. On the upper back one, we're going to install this short stubby sleeve. Drop that in. Get that bolt started in there. You want to make sure that those are tight. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our pulley here is lining up with our belt tensioner and the other pulleys here. Now if we look down right in line with it, we can see that our pulley is actually further in than it needs to be. So at this point, now that we've seen that this is off, the kit comes with a spacer here that needs to go behind the pulley itself. So we can use our 15mm wrench, and we want to loosen and remove this bolt on the front. You remove that bolt with the washer on the front and slide that pulley off. I'm going to slide this spacer on. Reinstall that, and then put our bolt back on. You want to make sure that's good and tight. Make sure that the pulley spins freely. Now we can install our belt. Now we're going to go down to our tensioner, lift up on this, and install our belt. Inspect the belt, make sure it lines up around all of your pulleys. It's on all of the ribs of all of the other drive units itself. Make sure that this pulley lines up with the other pulley, and it does. This point here, if you want to, you can go ahead and continue to remove the rest of these lines or leave them. They're not going to interfere with anything. They're not going to interrupt with anything. That point there, we're going to go ahead and put our air intake back in. Go ahead and install the mass air unit. With that in place, we can install our air intake tube. Make sure that's fully seated on both components here. And we'll go ahead and tighten down our clamps. Install the vacuum hose here on the back side. Now, if you ever consider putting your AC condenser back in or replacing it, you want to go ahead and cover these here. You can simply clean this here and put some tape over the holes, wrap it up nice and secure so you don't get a lot of condensation or moisture inside this hose. For us, we're not going to replace it. We're not going to install a new AC compressor, so it's okay for us to just leave that hanging off. It's not going to interfere or bounce into anything. So we're all set. So are you.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.